How King Salman really spends $2 trillion. That's the question whispered in palaces, shouted on social media threads, and dissected in hushed tones at billionaire conferences. The number is so massive it feels fictional, a number fit for myth rather than reality. But behind the palace walls of Riyadh and the secretive corridors of power, $2 trillion flows like a river of oil-turned gold. How King Salman really spends $2 trillion isn't just about economics. It's about image, power, survival, and the kind of luxury that bends the imagination. Picture this: a convoy of blacked-out Merceds gliding across desert highways, followed by private jets standing by at air bases like chauffeured taxis for royals. In the global imagination, royalty is defined by crowns and castles. In Saudi Arabia, royalty is measured in fleets of gold-plated Rolls-Royces, private islands where every grain of sand has been imported, and entire cities built in the desert like mirages turned solid. This is the billionaire life magnified by an empire of oil, where King Salman presides not just as monarch, but as the orchestrator of the world's most extravagant spending. Observers on social media often joke about royal flexes, posting memes comparing Western billionaires' yachts to the Saudi royal family's floating palaces. Jeff Bezos may have his $500 million boat, but in Riyadh, that's pocket change, an accessory rather than a centerpiece. How King Salman really spends $2 trillion is less about a single toy and more about an entire nation turned into a playground. The kingdom's Vision 2030 plan, often advertised as a future-focused transformation, is also a spectacle of wealth. $500 billion pledged to NEOM, the futuristic megacity where mountains are reshaped, coastlines reinvented, and skyscrapers stretch into the realm of science fiction. For the king and his heirs, this is not just investment, it is legacy carved in steel and glass. Inside the palaces, stories circulate like wildfire. Rooms lined with marble from Carrara, chandeliers weighing more than cars, and carpets so rare that entire villages dedicate years to weave just one. Private zoos rivaling national parks, hunting expeditions where falcons are flown in first-class seats, and dinner banquets where one dish can cost more than an average family's annual income. On TikTok and Instagram, clips of royal sons and princes flaunting tiger cubs in Lamborghinis go viral, fueling the image of a dynasty so rich the rules of gravity don't apply. But this isn't just youthful flexing. It's propaganda, carefully curated glimpses of how King Salman really spends $2 trillion, showing power through opulence. What makes this story addictive is the duality. The quiet king in his late years, ruling from gilded chambers, contrasted with his son Mohammed bin Salman, who acts as executor of the spending spree. To outsiders, it's one dynasty, one vault, one pipeline of oil money. Yet within the kingdom, it's theater. The old king holds the crown, while the young prince scripts the spectacle. Together, they command sovereign wealth funds worth more than entire nations, moving money with the stroke of a pen, shaping markets, buying football clubs, tech giants, and cultural dominance in ways that the West can't ignore. And then there are the whispers of scandals, the kind that tabloids salivate over. Rivalries within the royal family fought not with swords but with bank accounts. Exiled princes leak tales of private jets stuffed with cash, of shopping sprees in Paris where entire designer boutiques were closed to the public so royal daughters could browse in silence. In London, the Saudi presence is so overwhelming that billionaire life becomes a literal description of entire neighborhoods owned by the House of Saud. How King Salman really spends $2 trillion isn't just within the borders of his kingdom. It's scattered across the globe, stitched into luxury hotels, skyscrapers, penthouses, and vaults of rare art. Halfway through this tale, let's return to the hook line. How King Salman really spends $2 trillion. It's the kind of number that forces us to look twice, to imagine a single family commanding more wealth than Silicon Valley combined. The answer lies not only in golden yachts and futuristic cities, but also in influence. Billions flow into Hollywood films, quietly financing blockbusters. Billions more slip into Silicon Valley startups, ensuring that the future of technology carries a Saudi fingerprint. Every sponsorship, every sports takeover, every celebrity photo op with the royals is a reminder that wealth buys not only luxury but narrative. When Cristiano Ronaldo or Neymar signs to play in Saudi leagues, the world isn't just watching football. It's watching a dynasty flex its $2 trillion muscle in front of billions of screens. The billionaire life here is not limited to private indulgence. It's also about strategic extravagance. Billions poured into religious pilgrimages, ensuring Mecca and Medina remain the beating heart of the Islamic world. Billions more into defense, arms deals signed with a flourish, ensuring the monarchy's survival even in a turbulent Middle East. Every dollar spent is a shield, every palace a fortress, every jewel-encrusted watch a signal. This dynasty is untouchable. Yet drama seeps through the cracks. Dissidents whisper of hypocrisy, of austerity preached to citizens while the royal family lives in unimaginable opulence. The death of journalist Jamal Khashoggi revealed the darker edges of power, sparking international outrage but also showing just how far the monarchy will go to protect its empire. And through it all, the spending continues. The world scrolls in fascination, half in awe, half in judgment, watching TikTok clips of lions leashed in luxury apartments while political prisoners languish in cells. It is this collision of spectacle and scandal that makes the story impossible to look away from. Every few years, a new wave of spending shocks the globe. $450 million for Leonardo da Vinci's Salvator Mundi, the most expensive painting ever sold, purchased through secret Saudi channels. Billions into LIV Golf, disrupting the genteel traditions of Western sports. The launch of the Line, a futuristic city promised to stretch 170 kilometers across the desert, costing hundreds of billions. A project so audacious it feels like science fiction. This is how King Salman really spends $2 trillion. Not quietly, not invisibly, but in a way that the entire world is forced to watch, discuss, and react to. But behind the grandeur lies fragility. The kingdom's fortune is still tied to oil, a resource the world is trying to move beyond. The spectacle of wealth masks an undercurrent of anxiety. What happens when the oil runs dry, when the world no longer needs Saudi crude? The $2 trillion spending spree is, in one sense, a desperate gamble, transforming the kingdom before time runs out. The yachts, the skyscrapers, the art collections, the sports deals, all are pieces in a larger puzzle, to ensure that when oil fades, the monarchy still stands tall. Social media adds fuel to the fire. Every viral clip of a Saudi prince in a gold-plated Lamborghini brings both admiration and ridicule. Memes compare Saudi opulence to dystopian fiction, while influencers hashtag billionaire life with half envy, half sarcasm. Yet every click, every share, every reaction only magnifies the spectacle, making sure the House of Saud stays at the center of the global stage. The extravagance is not an accident, it's the point. Wealth becomes theater, and the world is the audience.